Welcome back to the group stage of Kharak Cup 12. We're going to be continuing with Group A. I think I cast a game from Group C, but it's probably better to just try to get all of A done in one go, right? And then move on to B. Anyway, it's going to be between Sarah playing as the Con F. We just saw him in a game with Maze. You should probably watch that first if you haven't already. Spoilers, right? But he actually went 1-1 in that series, which I thought was pretty cool. But now he's going to be up against one of the best AGameAnx here, playing as random. But, of course, I saw the replay in the menu. He is going to roll a coalition. You can see that as well, if you have eyes anyway. So it's going to be Coalition versus Con F right here. Of course, this should be in the bag if Sarum just does the nasty blaster unrush, but no, he's not going to do that. Base Runner Retirement comes out from A-Game here almost immediately, quick as you like. And LAV Fab is going to come out, but it's not going to be a tech rush, I don't think. In fact, this is rather odd.
Salvager online.
He's gonna make one salve here, but then move another guy on the long distance mining, probably for CUs. Maybe this will be kind of like we saw versus Maze. It's gonna be a lot of LAVs. That's interesting. It's interesting to see. Of course, this is vanilla. LAV is kind of a whack unit in vanilla, if you know how to use them right.
Light attack vehicle online.
For displacement. Charge weapon.
I've kind of downplayed that playstyle in the past, but I've grown much more respectful of it with time because I've realized just how hard it is to pull it off.
Rally point set. Move to location.
Roger, displacing now.
By the way, whatever happened to YOLO Swaggins? He was kind of like the friendly neighborhood Garmin impersonator, but
Push up to that point.
I feel like he's not around anymore. It's kind of sad.
Light attack vehicle online.
Anyway, Sarum beginning to make some senskimias from his production cruiser. There'd be cruiser, right? Got a word that ends in an ER.
On our way.
Anyhow.
This is the captain.
This base runner here probably going to be in some trouble. A-Game just wants to chase down that blast drone. He knows the shenaniganry that can be pulled off by blast drones in this game. Not going to fall for any of that nonsense.
Light attack vehicle visually authenticated. Receiving. Green line confirmed.
Pretty nice anti-BD micro here.
Move order confirmed.
Wouldn't expect anything less. But it is still tricky to take out that unit without losing any guys of your own. Which, by the way, the balance of the blast drones is that if he takes out one LAV from one blast drone, he loses in the exchange. But still, if you can get away with not losing any LAVs, probably that's what you want to do. Uh-oh, this guy getting a little close, though. He's going to be toasted. But that's still fine for A-Game. Obviously, that's actually a good trade for him. Sandscrim's trying to make a bit of a foray out here in the beginning as well, but LAV is able to hold that off for the most part.
Move order confirmed. Ready.
Deploying field logistics module.
Getting a little cornered here, actually, but I think with these LAVs coming in from the background, they're going to outnumber, of course, the Sandskimmers. And you know how vanilla is, although actually some good damage getting done on this LAV right here, but looks like this is going to be pretty much a stalemate. But I was going to say, you know how vanilla is. Equal numbers of Sandskimmers and LAVs, the LAVs will always win that fight, even if they're microed fairly badly. So.
Go for carrier. Armor confirms. Location.
Railgun fabrication going to come out from Sarum, as well as sleep capacity 45 getting upgraded now. The big thing that's missing here is refinery mode. He's actually got the money for it now. I would definitely be going for that. Looks like he is. Okay, that's good to see. But his opponent is going to be a little bit ahead of him in that regard. He does have another base set up already, although he's only got 5 salvagers here on the main. Just kind of thin on RUs in general. I guess he just feels he doesn't really need them if he's going for this many LAVs. I don't know, I guess I've just sort of been trained to always put, you know, 2 salvagers on the RUs on the main patch there. But, that's not necessary, right? I guess, you know, maybe he does see he just doesn't need many RUs, so he's gonna go for...
Move order confirmed. Ready. Send.
Gonna go for CUs instead. Or maybe he just doesn't notice this. That's always also a distinct possibility. I like to give the player on casting like a huge benefit of the doubt, you know, and assume that he knows everything that he's doing, but it's usually not true.
On our way. Reading. Attention. Coordinates confirmed.
Rally point to location.
Whoa! Excuse me. Got some phlegm in my throat there, but Another support cruiser pops for A-Game here. He's going to be on 3 base before too long. Serum just still chilling on 2.
Salvager online.
Prep for displacement.
Some AAV pressure going to come in here, but Serum does have assault railguns in time. He's not going to be pushed back by that at all. But the real pressure here is economic, though. As A-Game getting fighting gunship fabrication, actually. That's a good counter to the railguns, which are inevitably going to start coming out here.
Green line confirmed.
Another production cruiser comes out for Serum. A-Game's already on 3 base, but Serum looks like he will be pretty soon as long as he can hold off the aggression here.
Op ready.
Light attack
A little bit of scuffling going on here with the LAVs, but again, it looks like a bit of a stalemate, no one coming out on top there. And A-Game playing this one really slow.
Systems ready.
Definitely not rushing into anything. Hasn't taken any bad trades, but I feel like he hasn't really taken any particularly good ones either. He's just kind of slowly gotten a little bit ahead economically.
Carrier copies. Location marked. Strike craft ready. We're moving up.
Light attack vehicle in service.
Armor moving out.
Oh, excuse me.
Destination set.
Upgrades for those LAVs starting to come out now, so the assault pack on the way for those
Move to
LAVs.
location.
Strike hostile on sensors. Authentication confirmed. Enemy light.
You want to be careful with this dude in this A-Game. Those blast drones are pretty close.
Designated hostile confirmed.
Serum gonna micro pretty appropriately as well. Holds this guy's back.
Stand by.
And this time he does have railgun armor on the way, so he's got the first one finished already. I would say, as a player who goes for sandskimmers and railguns a lot myself, I've generally found that the sandskimmer armors are not as impactful as the railgun ones.
Deploying field
Normally I would go for the
logistics
railgun ones first, and then get the sandskimmer armor upgrades later,
module. Light attack vehicle enhancements online.
Ready. Carrier here.
because you use typically the sandskimmers is more of like a support unit for the railguns, which are the real force.
Vehicle authenticated. Green line confirmed.
A-Game accidentally wasting a couple of missiles on
Strike craft.
Holy goodness! Alright. Sorry I missed that one, but there's going to be a pretty nasty blast drone strike actually coming down there, and suddenly the strike-craft majority going for Serum's way. He's going to monopolize as fast as he can. Probably wants to pull off here before he bites off a bit more than he can chew,
Light
though.
attack vehicle online. Artifact position authenticated.
A couple of railguns going to get a little molested here. I think 2 of them went down in total, if I'm not mistaken.
Punch it. Armor is on.
AV trying to get up here for some backstabs, but Serum is in position ready to hold it off. Thing is, he's unlocked his carrier very early here, but he's not on 3 base. And I really don't feel he's getting any like pressure off of this, especially with that air tech.
Proceed to
Kind of holding him down while he needs to get some anti-air units up. And so I feel like this is kind of a silly move here to move out with the carrier. It does kind of guarantee an extraction, but it's more important that he gets up on his 3rd base, I would say.
Fire smoke screen. It's a straight shot. Go. Get us underway.
Salvager online. Dialed in.
Strike systems online.
Those blast drones, though, they're nasty things, aren't they?
Make ready. Armored vehicle lost.
Oh, what the heck? So it looks like one of the AAVs actually slipping through the ranks here.
Move order confirmed.
Light attack vehicle in service.
This is just gonna hit a pretty good barrage there, and then the blast drone is here for some more damage, but there's nothing else that can actually hurt him, so assault railgun's headed in to try and do some damage.
Strike fighter coordinates dialed in. Light attack vehicle online.
Blast drone is gonna come in and strike,
Extract an artifact.
and then the assault railguns will finish him off, but it looks like still a salvager managing to go down there, so.
Green line confirmed. Armored vehicle has been destroyed.
Pretty decent damage for one AAV, don't you think?
Go for carrier.
A-Game's starting to invest a bit more into phlegm in my throat so that I can stop casting them. No, into vehicle damage upgrades for the LAVs. That's clearly a response to the assault railguns. He knows armor not really going to matter too much. He needs the damage upgrades to sort of fight that.
Visually authentic. Ready.
Normally the armor upgrades are a better investment because they tech a lot faster, but in this case damage is much more important because assault railguns are almost invulnerable to unupgraded damage LAVs. Still though, they only have armor 1 on them. No further, so that's probably going to play into this in a big way.
Captain. Move confirmed.
Railgun operation.
LAVs here coming in for a monster backstab.
Fleet capacity deployed.
And that's a heavy railgun popping out of this production cruiser. No, it's a Samsung actually. Never mind. But it doesn't matter. It could be anything. It could be an assault ship, and these LAVs would still kill off this production cruiser if they wanted to. And that's where they should go, I think. And just like chill out over here, kill off this production cruiser. Yeah, looks like that is what they're gonna do.
Proceed to rally point. Secure location marked.
And that is some nasty damage coming out right there. Oh no 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 no! Don't leave this guy alive on 26 HP again. There we go. It does go down.
Enemy support vehicle authenticated.
And normally you would use the boost to get away from the assault railgun scare, but he can actually just fight them because he's got those upgrades and Serum does not.
Fire on the move!
Strike fighter 4 net.
Assault railgun's gonna go down here, pretty much all of them I think.
Alert, LAV down.
There's even like a heavy railgun explode. There's two actually.
Rally point set. Move to
Oh
location.
no.
Unidentified craft on approach. Mark the bearing.
But it looks like
Light
A-Game is
attack
gonna
vehicle
choose to back away at this
enhancements
point.
online.
Holy goodness, I didn't even notice this happening, but railgun count for AV starting for A-Game starting to get pretty big here
Light
now.
attack vehicle in service.
Let's move. Carrier copies.
The command
Carrier production
carrier
upgrade on
must
the way
place
for him.
additional fleet capacity deployables.
Even without the carrier production upgrade, look how much rail he was able to spam here. And this is going to be pretty nasty pretty soon,
Light
I
attack
think.
vehicle online.
Vehicle set. Hostile carrier detected.
Obviously that main is open now. Serum again trying to use this carrier as like an offensive
Light
unit,
attack
but
vehicle in
it's really
service.
not getting any
Hostile
value for him, I don't
forces are
think. He
attempting
really
to
needs to just have that guy
extract
hanging back at home supporting one of the bases.
Hammer it. Get us over there.
And that also is a defensive bulwark, obviously.
Get us underway.
Something that'd be very useful when you're being attacked like you are by A-Game right here.
Hostile light attack
Blast
vehicle
drone's in the hood, but it does get denied.
Coordinates confirmed. Ready.
Light attack vehicle in service.
Move strike craft taking effective fire.
Armored assault modifications carried out.
Armor upgrades starting to come out from A-Game. Still no mag accelerator, but he's got a lot of upgrades to get if he wants to. So I mean, you know, that's not really going to be too impactful. He's got so many numbers here, it's almost not going to matter.
We got a railgun.
No damage upgrades coming out for the Sandskimmer, so the armor on the railgun is just going to make him fairly impervious to the Sandskimmer attack there. LAVs jump on it, only one railgun going down, and I think that's all we're going to see.
Hostile strike craft down.
Blast drones can be pretty nasty, but I don't think there are any blast drones ready to really do too much damage. It looks like Serum going for the base trade scenario here, but
New heading set.
I don't know how I feel about that. Obviously, A-Game got a little bit of an advantage going into this. If I were him, you know, I'd just send all the LEDs up to the main. Yep, there we go. And the railgun's actually going to fall back, just to take care of this carrier, which he knows is in this position. He's seen that with his strike fighters.
En route.
He'll be a little careful with those missile batteries. In fact, he's going to lose one strike fighter.
Op ready. Copy. Green light verified.
Railgun enhancements online.
But yeah, this base is going to be wiped.
Get us underway. Enemy salvager destroyed.
And this is really quite a Hail Mary here from Serum,
Move it. Alert. Line salvager destroyed.
who actually has got an honor guard cruiser fabrication apparently, but
Move confirmed.
I doubt he's got the resources for that.
Strike craft destroyed. On our way. Full speed.
Realize on an art attack. Stand by. Armored assault modifications carried out.
Ready. The railgun is taking effective fire. Push through. Alert. Railgun lost. Going mobile. Displays at sea. Support crews are under attack. Immediate fire support on that position. Coordinates confirmed. Alert. Salvager lost.
Typical Bozokow moment of silence here.
Taking fire. Be advised. One lost. Repeat. One lost.
Armored assault modifications
And A-Game
carried
takes
out.
game one in pretty predictable fashion.
All ships reform on command.
One thing I noticed about A-Game is when he's playing against people who you would expect him to beat, he still takes a very long time. You know, he goes fairly safe. Kind of interesting to see. Let's see, what's the next map? Gonna be the Shallows here. Whose map pick is this? We actually know. Let me just check the names of the folders here. Looks like game one was A-Game's pick. Makes sense, the Boneyard, one of his favorite maps. But game two here gonna be Serum's pick. Also makes sense, not one of A-Game's favorite maps, but I think it's one he's gonna perform quite well on. I'll have to see what faction he rolls as. It actually was I could have seen it in the thing in the replay file there, like when I was in the loader, but I did not check. Oh, he's Coalition again. Man, what is it with A-Game and playing random, but he rolls the same faction twice in a row. Anyway, and if I know A-Game, he's told Serum already, you know, what he is. Interesting thing to see here is it's not going to be Sport Cruiser first from A-Game. That's kind of the expected thing, I guess I would say, if you're playing on the Shallows, but no, LAV fabrication going to be coming out here, and it's going to be pretty much the same build, actually. As another LAV comes out onto that wreck
Go for carrier.
before filling out the Argus Salvager on the main. So, it's interesting to see. Very interesting.
Research completed.
Set charges. right there.
Salvager online.
What is Serum going for meanwhile?
New course charted.
Still
Light
unknown.
attack vehicle online.
Although we do
Proceed to
see
rally
some blast
point.
runs moving out
Secure
across the
location
beta
marked.
game, like we have before.
ADA active.
Light attack vehicle in service. Rally point set. Move to location.
Push up to that point.
You know, I guess what I will say is going for a Sport Cruiser first against Con F quite risky. Obviously those blast runs could come in and have a huge impact in the match, right?
Ready, set.
So maybe it makes sense to do this kind of LAV opener versus Con F in general.
Light attack vehicle.
I think this is one that would actually do pretty well even against the blast run rush, although obviously that's still almost unholdable.
On our
I
way.
wonder if that's got anything to do with A-Game's choice of build here, but
Reading.
probably
Green line
not.
confirmed.
Salvager online.
Assault ship fabrication coming out from Serum now.
Heading set. This is the
AGameAnx
cap.
beginning his
Hold and
first
stand by.
Sport Cruiser, but this is definitely a mix-up from previous games we've seen from Serum where he's always gone for railguns.
Hold and stand by. Green line confirmed. Hold
You can
position.
see A-Game getting a nice split on that base runner, doesn't want to take any losses to blast runs if he can get away with it.
Coordinates confirmed.
Actually going to charge right up into this one, so he suicides this LAV to just clear out the blast run there. I think that makes sense because his LAVs are pretty preoccupied taking out this base runner.
Green line confirmed.
Smoke does get popped by Serum there, a little bit late I would say, but he can pick up that artifact at least, but extraction at this point seeming quite unlikely. Sport Cruiser finishing for A-Game now.
Stand by. New sector designated. Move out. Coordinates
Support
confirmed.
cruiser now operational.
And off goes the
Weapon range
carrier.
systems currently
I'm
active.
ready. On our way. Reading.
Proceed to rally point. Secure location marked.
Receiving. Move order confirmed.
Assault ship fabrication finished now from Serum. It's no 2 production cruiser
Light
build,
attack
that's for
vehicle
sure.
in service.
Coordinates confirmed.
It's just tech before refinery mode, it looks like. Fleet capacity 65 getting researched here, actually, which is interesting, and then Sandstorm rating, so refinery mode clearly not a priority in this case.
Reading.
Salvager.
But it's
online.
interesting, you know, we don't see any units coming out here yet. And
Rally
so,
point set. Move to location.
I don't know, I guess I'm just a little worried about how well this is going to work here. AGameAnx already getting railgun fabrication, that's kind of what you would want to
Salvager
counter
online.
Clear for move.
this type of a
Proceed
build.
to rally point. Secure location.
I feel like he's
marked.
going to have a really easy time holding if it is indeed going to be some assault ship aggression here. AV's coming out in the beginning as well, which is going to be really nice versus these sand skimmers
Carrier
here.
copies. We're moving up.
Armored assault operational.
Check the latest from ops first. Hostile light attack vehicle detected. On our way. Ready. Make ready. Green line confirmed.
Research completed.
Ready. Set. Reading. Go for carrier.
Missile battery fabrication, actually, the blind anti-air tech coming out from A-Game right
Armored
now.
assault online.
Op ready.
And that seems to actually be a pretty wise choice from his position because you've seen a whole lot of nothing from your opponent but a lot of sand skimmers, and that means his RU bank is going to be pretty big.
On our way.
Sure enough, interceptor fabrication is on the queue. The thing is, that could actually already be, like, almost finished at this point. That's why A-Game is getting this tech, is because he doesn't know what his opponent is doing, and if you don't know, you basically just gotta cover your bases for, like, some kind of surprise tech. He's got railgun fabrication, now he's getting missile battery fabrication. He's pretty well covered against, you know, any kind of blind tech options here. LAV is actually getting jumped on pretty effectively by these sand skimmers. Smoke getting used to try and save some of the LAVs if he can.
Green line confirmed. Coordinates confirmed. Ready. Go for armor.
It's gonna reduce the damage output a little bit, but it looks like these LAVs are gonna be punished.
Move order confirmed.
And A-Game actually does not have a AAV back at home. I would be building one if I were him, like, right now. He queues up too, yeah, they'll be coming out fairly soon. He cancels it. He builds salvagers, man. Well, I guess he did see these guys actually take kind of a hook back up into the main. So probably he felt pretty comfortable that they were not going to push him there. Interceptors are on the way now for Serum.
On the move. Green line confirmed.
But A-Game does already have that anti-air tech, so they're only really going to be worth, like, one pass. And I would imagine if A-Game doesn't see, oh, that's cool. The first depth pack there, which was trying to be used to attack the AAV, actually popped the direct open too. Maybe they were already mining off there. I don't know, but it looked like it popped the direct before.
Be advised.
Artifact does
Hostile
get denied
forces
there, by the
dropped
way.
an artifact.
Well, interestingly with Conf, there's no tell for when their carrier has air tech. There's only tell for when they're producing one, which is like a little light blinking on the front there.
Railgun operational.
So A-Game actually could not scout that even if he had seen the carrier there. Anyway, I would suggest if he doesn't see like some kind of a tech unit from his opponent in the next like minute or so, he's gonna know it's air and he's gonna make a missile battery actually before even seeing any of the interceptors come out yet.
Board is green. Let's roll.
Yeah, there you go. Missile battery is actually on the way, so that's really good for A-Game. Actually, the interceptors looks like are already rolling out,
Railgun
but by the time they get
operational.
here, that missile battery is gonna be halfway finished.
We got a railgun under fire. Ready. Hostiles
So railgun possibly going to take some damage here. In fact, smoke not turning out on that railgun side. Never mind, maybe it is. I thought the blast drone was going to try to strike it. The missile battery is already finished for A-Game here, so
Missile battery
potential for really nasty damage done by these interceptors is quite low.
has been engaged.
One of them goes down already.
Alert. Salvager destroyed.
Ooh, nearly loses a second.
Green light to proceed. Move. Go for carrier. Board is green. Copy. Displacing.
Rally points.
And that really kind of takes the wind out of Serum's sails. He transitions into railguns now, but he doesn't seem to have any momentum on the field anymore.
Carrier.
Obviously, he's behind in eco by like a lot. Refinery mode not even on the way yet. And A-Game, meanwhile, you know, fluently mining on 3 bases here, has not taken
Construction resources
but
exhausted.
1 loss, I think, of a salvager.
Vehicle detected.
This is gonna be problems for Serum, I'd
Armored
say.
assault online.
Reading.
Hostile forces are attempting to extract an artifact.
Coordinates confirmed. Ready. Send. Green line confirmed. Moving. Eyes open up there.
Armored assault operational.
Armor online. New location.
A-Game continuing to stack up the railgun count here. I mentioned this in one of Maze's games versus Serum actually, but I feel like if you're ahead on eco, you just spam railguns and you're going to be in a really good position, right? Because your opponent can't really counter it with railguns of their own. You can always build more than them, and so if they don't already have some really good momentum built up, you can basically just spam railguns and use that to get sort of ahead that way. Looks like that's going to be what A-Game is doing here.
Hostiles designated. Trackers assigned. Go for armor. Armor ready. Target locked. Panther. Strike craft destroyed. Reading. Get us underway. Armor is on route.
Our unit is trying to target the anti-air now. That's not going to go very well.
Vehicle is taking fire. Armor is on route. Display. Receiving. Display. Go for order. On our way.
Smoke could be used here, I guess. But
Receiving.
Field logistics module.
this guy is going to live.
The railgun is taking effective fire.
Lieutenant Dan.
Display.
If this guy becomes a lieutenant,
Be advised. Hostile forces have dropped an artifact.
it's just too perfect, isn't it?
Receiving. Coordinates
Point is, all this fighting seems to be going on over the extraction of the base runners right here. They are both going to be denied. And as of yet, we're going to continue that
Be
status
advised.
quo, no
Hostile forces
extractions.
have dropped an artifact.
Serum really struggling to find any kind of momentum here. He has finally gotten production cruiser refinery mode.
reading.
Railgun fabrication finished too, but he obviously can't fight these railgun numbers. A-Game just has so much more momentum in that regard. Those sand skimmers fighting there, that should have been, you know, the only thing he could do to try and thin the railgun numbers, and you can see it didn't really work. So
Armored assault
this is going to be rough.
online.
Support cruiser anti-air starting to come out now, so A-Game wanted to phase out the missile batteries, it looks like. Probably a wise choice, and vanilla support cruiser anti-air is like insane,
Destination set.
so you can see why you would go for that. A-Game has told me the fable of this player called Mythic who would just do LAVs and missile batteries or something like that, apparently. But I never saw him play, unfortunately, so I don't know how it works, but apparently he was like really good at this particular style.
We have
Airburst's very effective right there. Manages to hit 4 of those guys, kind of chunks them down a little bit.
Be ready. Ready for order.
You can see how many AAVs A-Game has. I mean, normally you wouldn't build this many, but keep getting hit by sand skimmers, you know, that's just what you do. Looks like one railgun gonna go down. Focus fire is actually not there.
Enemy salvager neutral.
The first railgun kill is also on A-Game's side, not on
Armored vehicle
Serum's.
has been destroyed. Heading set.
Smoke is popped there, protect the railguns from the sand skimmers.
Green line strike craft destroyed. Order confirmed. Move out.
support cruisers have been outfitted with anti-air defense systems.
The captain.
And A-Game just gonna
On our
spam
way.
rails.
Enemy railgun eliminated. Go for orders. Display. Ready.
Construction resources exhausted.
Push through. Ready. Coordinates confirmed.
Carrier trying a pretty bold move out here, but it just doesn't have the power to do that kind of thing. Serum knows the game is over and he chooses to
Be
surrender.
advised. Group 1 lost.
Well, there you go.
Hostile
This is going to be a 2-0 for
forces
A-game. Like I said, this is probably the expected result, but
Excellent work.
it's still pretty fun games to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one.